What is up guys, Munash here, and we are back with more Alliance War, and it's been a while, so yeah, this is the first war of Season 19, and for this war I'm going with Warlock, because we got a bit of an annoying Havok to deal with, Quake, and Namor, because you got some more Elsa smashing to do today. So yeah, let's go in, and this is a tier 1 stubborn war. However, I am still going to be using Quake for probably most of the fights, and I'm going to be doing part 6. Okay, so first we have Havok, and he isn't a defensive champ, but he does have Power Focus 1 and Power Alternator, and this is why I brought Warlock, because I usually can't take Havok with Quake, but with those two nodes it makes it a lot more trickier with Quake, because he'll probably spend most of the fight between 1 and 2 bars of power, so then you can just throw his special attacks a lot more often and build up those plasmas a little bit faster. So that's why I didn't want to take the risk of using Quake. I just decided let me go with Warlock and be safe, because yeah, Warlock is a very solid Havok counter because he has that permanent armor buff, so I won't have to worry about taking detonation damage. And so here I'm kind of just using a similar style that I use for the Warlock in Abyss, but I am sometimes doing full combos and throwing my special too. And now I'm just gonna be parry heavying because the bleeds do a lot of damage, and also Warlock is draining his power quite nicely because he does have willpower. Whenever they heal, they also get power drained, so I can actually just spam heavies in the corner, which just makes the fight a little bit more easy and fun. Okay, so that was a pretty simple one, and yeah, I think that's gonna be the last simple one of the day. So now I'm going to apply some boost because I do have a bit of a tricky Nick Fury to deal with. And I also wanted to use an invulnerability boost because he is going to be gaining a lot of power in this fight whenever I dex. Okay, so he has power snack, which means that every time I trigger dex or any buff, he's gonna gain 50% of a bar of power every 7 seconds. And then there's also backup recovery, which means that he's gonna gain basically almost a bar of power when he reaches 50% health. And that's kind of why I felt like I need the indestructible boost, just in case I need to take a special 3 if he gains too much power. And he's also a stubborn champ, so he will be triggering indestructible whenever I dex as well. And yeah, so this fight really annoyed me. I had an interaction where I tried to throw my heavy attack and it just didn't work. My Namor just stood there, then I took a full combo, and that pretty much just messed up my run. But yeah, you'll see that just now. Because he is an Avenger, Nick Fury does start with 5 tactical charges. But fortunately, because he's also a mutant, he gains those charges, I believe, 4 times slower, which just makes it a little bit easier to manage the fight because it takes him longer to go unblockable, and that's really where the problems start. Because with stubborn, you'll see that I do actually have to parry. And now I hit Imperious Rex, so I'm like, okay, now I actually need to do a combo and then throw a heavy attack to get the special 3. And then, look at that there. He just stood there, and I don't know what happened here. This has actually never happened to me before, but yeah, I tried to go for the heavy and then took a combo, about 3000 ticking bleed, pretty annoying. And also now he has backup recovery and he gains 3 bars of power. So he's gonna throw a special 3, but now I've already used up my indestructible boost, you know, by taking that combo. So I'm just gonna have to eat that special 3 and yeah, just live with it. So yeah, that dropped input was pretty annoying. So I'm pretty annoyed at this point, so I'm gonna revive Namor and go in again, you know, sort of get my revenge. So yeah, let's just use a level 2 team revive, because I usually get a lot of those. And then some Alliance health potions. And I decided maybe just go with 1 more. And I still have a few seconds on my indestructible boost left, so okay, so let's go back in. So I actually don't want to dex too much in this fight, although I am still going to be dexing the special 2 hit a bit, especially in his second phase, because it can still do quite a bit of damage even through your block. So yeah, as long as I can just manage those charges, you should be good. So now I'm deciding to parry the special 1, just to avoid triggering the indestructible from Stubborn. And really in the first phase it's not a problem because you can always just parry stun him. He doesn't do that much damage and he's less likely to be unblockable. But in the second phase it's a little bit more tricky because he hits a bit harder and he gains those charges a little bit faster. So there I manually triggered Imperious Rex, unintentionally, but just because I was holding block, just so I wouldn't have to dex that special attack. And then here's where a problem started now. So now he is unblockable. He's at 15 tactical charges in his second phase, so he has a permanent fury. So he's gonna remain unblockable till I can push him to 20 charges. So I actually have to hit him now. So I'm just gonna intercept. And right now I'm not doing any damage because he does have that indestructible from Stubborn. So now finally I hit him enough times to remove unblockable, and now I can parry him and start doing some damage. So now he's going down a bit more steadily. And there we go, he goes down. Not too bad with Namor. I don't know, maybe I'll try Archangel next time. So I actually brought Namor because there's also a Korg on this path, but Swidia ended up taking care of him. So yeah, let's move on. And now we have Ebony more with Mixmaster, Oscillate and Aggression Prowess. And he is a defensive champ, so he can trigger that indestructible with Stubborn. And for this one I'm going to use Quake because she is just an amazing Ebony Maw counter. He is super squishy with his premature physical resistance, so Quake's going to be doing some serious damage as long as I don't trigger dexterity. Her concussion is what's preventing Stubborn from triggering every time she evades. And you also notice that it actually has a larger window than the debuff icon, because you notice she evades right after it expires, but it's still actually active at the time she evades. And that also kind of allows her to bypass tenacity. She can actually heavy parry all you want and they won't struggle for your debuffs. And now that I'm in a corner, I'm going to do some heavy only, because once again that will pretty much bypass Stubborn. And you can just heavy parry for this, it will also work, although it's a bit more annoying with Ebony more because, you know, not all these attacks can be parry stunned. But I figured I don't need to because I can just heavy only. And you see he's going down pretty quickly. And so yeah, that's how you basically use Quake for Stubborn. You just really want to parry heavy or just heavy only, but the main thing is just to avoid using dexterity, otherwise then he will trigger that indestructible. Okay, so now moving on to section 2, we've got Captain America Infinity War with Rage and Enhanced Fury. So once again I'm going to use Quake because he is a defensive champ, and with Namor and Warlock they can probably trigger Rage and then he'll go unblockable, then I won't be able to parry him anymore. But Quake will never trigger Rage, as in she won't gain any Furies or go unblockable, because, you know, she doesn't make contact, all her damage is passive damage over time. And you notice that here where I trigger Dexterity accidentally, I do trigger that indestructible from Stubborn, so then I just have to parry to get rid of it, then I carry on quaking. So yeah, once again, heavy only just to avoid taking that parry damage. And fortunately the champs I've been fighting aren't the trickiest champs to heavy only. So I usually just practice by doing a duel. And usually after one duel I can decide, okay, yeah, I'm pretty confident now for Alliance War, so then let's go in. So yeah, one annoying thing is that Quake's concussion is not bypassing the damage cap from Rage. And honestly, I'm not sure why, but yeah, anyway. He goes down. Okay, and now we have Elsa Bloodstone with aggression prowess and power focus 2. So for this one I'm going to use Namor because despite her having suicides, she can't degen a mutant champ. So that also means that Namor's bleeds are pretty safe to use against her. So yeah, also with suicides is generally quite a quick and easy fight with a mutant. You know, just because the suicides do end up hurting her a little bit more. Taking a good amount of damage from the bleed, poison, and recoil. Just gotta evade a special one a couple of times. Okay, now we have Darkhawk, another defensive champ, and he's got Ebb and Flow Intercept, Redoubled Determination, and Crumbling Armor. So once again I'm going to use Quake for this one. So the mistake I made here is that I never practiced. I've never actually done heavy only against Darkhawk before. So I actually just wasn't very confident to do it, so I just did parry heavy for this fight. And to be honest, my parry heavy is not the best. I think it's just because I barely use it these days that like I've sort of just been out of practice and I haven't done it to a lot of the newer champs. So I don't always time my parries just right. Usually I time it a little bit early to be safe because the medium attack is a little bit slower than the light attack. But I think there is a sweet spot where if you time it just right, you can actually parry both medium and lights. So yeah, sometimes I do just end up blocking these medium attacks because they are a little bit slower than the light attack. And the funny thing is, after this fight, I went in and I dueled Darkhawk with my 3-star Quake and just to do the heavy only, and it was pretty simple, and I was like, you know what, I should have just practiced, so I should have actually just had more faith in myself, I guess. Basically, I just wasn't confident to use heavy only on a champ in Alliance War that I've never used heavy only against. And it was pretty simple to heavy only him. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying because even though heavy parry does work just as well in terms of the efficiency of the fight, it just is a little bit more health from getting hit. But yeah, what I like about having a 5-minute time limit is that now I can actually do more fights without relying on boosts and worrying about timing out. Like that Ebb and Flow Intercept fight, I don't even bother intercepting, I just take the 60% damage reduction and just Quake it. Because I have more than enough time to finish, even if it's a rank 3 6-star, I can still get it down without boosts fairly comfortably in the time limit. But check this here, so I mistimed the parry right at the end, took a few hits, and now I'm at 53% health. And yeah, so that's section 2, and now for the last section, I just have one fight to do, which which is gonna be the Sentinel with Rage, Extend, and Return policy. So whenever any of his buffs are nullified, he gains 40% power, but he's not going to be triggering any buffs, and I'm not going to be nullifying. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that. Once again, he is a defensive champ, so when I trigger Dexterity, he will trigger Indestructible. But I'm going to use Quake for this one, and this time I did practice against Sentinel. I did do a duel. I was feeling very confident, so I am going to be doing heavy only again. And I suppose you're going to be seeing a lot more heavy only this season when the opponent places with Stubborn. So I do still throw occasional parries when they just start a combo while they're right next to me. Just because I don't want to risk mistiming the evade. Because you need to be very sharp to actually do it consistently. Especially if they throw a light attack. Because light attacks are generally slightly faster than medium attacks. But usually I don't have to take a lot of parries, so I can mostly do heavy only and not worry about blocking. I've actually been finding Alliance War more interesting these days with all the changes. I'm not sure how much I like all the new nodes and stuff yet, but it has been keeping me a little bit more engaged. Because personally I've always enjoyed the challenge that Alliance War brings. And this map has sort of just shaked things up a bit, because I mean the old map I was doing part 4 a lot and it was getting very familiar and I was often using the same champs for the same fights. Whereas here now I'm bringing champs like Namor and Warlock, who I usually wouldn't bring, just because the path I'm doing has changed and the nodes are different and all that. And I still have a lot to experience in this new map, because I've only done parts 4 and 6 I believe, ever since it came out. So yeah, I might still do other parts in the future. So I'll just see how that goes. Okay, one more Aftershock should do it. And he goes down. Okay, and that's the first war of the season, and yeah, thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.